Hey, welcome back to Aphantasia Meow. Today's a big one. We're going to be talking about my results in my coaching program over the last 3 years. Let's get to it.
Meow.
So I've been doing this work since 2018. It's crazy that it's been that long. Almost 3 years now. I started back in April with my cousin, 2018. And since then, I've been working with a lot of people. You know, I've been working with people one-on-one, the coaching program, and case studies and stuff like that, which is what we're going to be taking a look at today. I've also been working with people on YouTube and my Discord server, you know, bouncing ideas back and forth on forums and all of that. So I've talked with hundreds of people at this point. And what I want to break down today are the people that I've had one-on-one contact with, that I've actually worked with one-on-one, who have been all the way through my program, my coaching program, right? Or case study, it's basically the same thing. And I want to take a look at just how effective the program has been for people. Not only to prove, not only to help prove anyway, that my program is indeed doing stuff for people, but to also help prove to the community that, hey, if you work on stuff and if you work the right way, then it's likely that things will start to open for you, okay? And that's what I want to take a look at today. So overall, the past 3 years, I've worked with 57 people individually. 57 people in my coaching program. Those are also case study participants. I did one boot camp with 4 participants. And I feel like there's one other thing, but I can't remember. Oh, it's courses, it's e-courses. So within the e-course, especially the e-course 1.2 and then 2.0, you got some free coaching that went along with it, or that was included in with the price. So I'm counting those people that I actually worked one-on-one with quite extensively from the courses too. So like I said, over the past 3 years, 57 individuals have made their way through the entire coaching program, or one of those other sub-programs that I mentioned. And from that number, 57 individuals, quite a lot of them experienced breakthrough. It's actually kind of even surprising for me, honestly. And so we'll define breakthrough in a moment, but it's important to mention before I get into that some of these breakthroughs were incredibly subtle. So like just new types of thought, maybe 1, 2, or 3 moments throughout the whole course of the program, throughout the 4 sessions that I do as a rule. Some were quite dramatic, where they left the whole program going, oh my gosh, now I have a breakthrough, like mind's eye is just totally active. That's not the norm. Usually it was somewhere in the middle from those 2 extremes that I just mentioned, but we'll get into the numbers. It's quite interesting. And the reason I'm only looking at my one-on-one coaching clients for this is because it's way easier to tell if that person or those people got breakthrough during the course of the program, as opposed to like an e-course. When I was running the e-course, which is on hiatus right now, wink wink, it's going to make a comeback soon actually. But when I was running the e-course, it's harder to keep track of who actually finished it. You know, I'd have certain like signposts throughout the course that they were supposed to fill out and let me know if they reached a certain point, but it's just like people buy e-courses all the time and never finish. So in these programs that's one-on-one, it's way easier to tell and for me to record if that person experiences a new type of visual thought. So that's why I'm focusing only on these programs, of course. Now, there have been people in my Discord server and YouTube channel, if you scan through the comments, that are like, hey, I practiced that, I tried this, and hey, I got breakthrough, thanks so much for the input, it's helping a lot. There's a lot of people like that. If you go to the Discord server, especially, we have a whole channel dedicated to breakthroughs in that server, where people just share their breakthroughs, every week. And so, there are more people out there who have made progress outside of just my one-on-one coaching program, but like I said, this one is the easiest for me to tell who made progress, who didn't, how much progress, how drastic, and all of that. So before we dive into the numbers, let me take a minute and just describe or define what I consider as a breakthrough. I call it breakthrough on the channel, right, in my practice. What I consider a breakthrough. Okay, let's really get that clear before we move on. Let's check it out. Okay, so in terms of defining breakthrough, what I call breakthrough within the program is any type of visual thought which occurs that's outside of the normal for that specific individual. Okay, so if they have a moment where they go like, oh, I've never thought of something like that, or oh, it was like more vivid than normal, or oh, there was something that was subtly there that I could tell was slightly visual, or I had the sense of the color without just the word blue. That's what I consider a breakthrough, okay? So that's what we're specifically looking at. Now, like I said earlier, some of the breakthroughs were very, very subtle, and only a few of them throughout the course of the program, but some of the breakthroughs within the numbers that we're gonna go over were very drastic, right? And then, of course, average is somewhere in the middle. So most of these breakthroughs within the program were mind's eye breakthroughs, meaning mental visualization. But 4 were unintentional prophantasia breakthroughs, and I'm still counting those too because, it's still like a visual type of imagination. It's just a little bit different than the mind's eye. And this is a huge disclaimer. I just want to get this out of the way before we dive into the numbers, that this training that I've developed here is not a magic bullet, okay? Most people aren't going to leave the program with a fully functioning mind's eye, and I've never actually claimed that that's what the program has done for people. What it does, though, is open up the door, so to speak, in the conscious mind to start experiencing new sorts of thoughts, new types of thoughts, specifically visual, of course, but there have been some other types of thoughts that have arisen too. We're just not really talking about that today. So it's not a magic bullet. It's not like a one-size-fits-all even. I have to continuously customize the program to meet the needs of the individual I'm working with. And breakthrough is really up to the individual. I mean, some of it's subtle, some of it's big, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. And the other issue with expecting to leave the program with a fully functioning mind's eye is it's kind of like this. It's kind of like thinking about, starting from scratch, like you never played a lick of piano in your life, to going and taking 4 lessons over 4 hours and then going to play the London Orchestra, a Beethoven piece for the London Orchestra the next following week. It doesn't really work like that, right? Instruments take time, they take practice, they take repetition, they take knowing what to practice and knowing what drills to play. And over time, over a few years or whatever, you can develop the skill of piano. I found that mind's eye and visual imagination is very much the same. It's like once you know what to expect and you get these breakthrough moments, then you can continue to develop that skill, right? But that's the reason why most people aren't going to leave the sessions with just full-blown mind's eye. Like I said, some people have left the sessions with fully open mind's eye afterwards. It's just not the norm. Okay, maybe in another video I'll break down the extent of the breakthroughs, but for today I'm just looking at breakthroughs in general. Who got breakthroughs, who didn't, right? Okay, so now on to the numbers. Here we go, let's check it out. So, since 2018, April of 2018, which was the first person I worked with, my cousin, I've worked with 57 individuals total. And specifically, we're going to look at those who have finished the training or have experienced any breakthrough already that may be currently working their way through my coaching program, okay? Because I got a lot of new clients at the new year, so we'll take a look at those who have finished or who got breakthrough already. Out of those 57, 2, I'm not sure of what the result was on them because I honestly, looking back over my notes, I don't have any record of what ended up breaking through for them or what ended up happening. I'm not sure what happened there. Just a fault of my own record keeping, honestly, because I keep all my notes of every client that I've ever worked with in my Apple, notes folders. And those 2 clients, not sure what happened. I know that I worked with them. I know that they got all the way through the program, but not sure the result. I don't have it recorded for whatever reason. So we're not going to count those 2 out of the 57. And then 1 client that I'm currently working with out of the many that I got over the new year, we're still not done with the program yet. Or they haven't gotten a breakthrough right. So we're going to minus those 3 out to 54 valid cases that we're looking at today over the past 3 years. Now, out of those 54 valid cases, 51 people have experienced some sort of breakthrough. Again, some small, some average, and some huge. Okay, most average, then there's some outliers of small breakthroughs, and then big, massive type of breakthroughs that even shock me, right? So 51, that's kind of crazy. And then 3 of those, no breakthrough occurred to that individual while they worked their way through my program. Now, these 3 individuals are kind of interesting cases, and some of them, like one of them was somebody that I worked with me way back in the beginning, and I think they already actually had a measure of a mind's eye, but back then I wasn't super good at describing it. And so I think we were working towards something maybe that was already there, Now I have much better language, and that kind of thing doesn't happen quite as much. It can still happen though, because all this is subjective. So that's one of them. Another one seemed like they maybe had some brain things going on that just practice wasn't actually going to address. So that was going to be something outside of my realm of expertise, maybe something that they needed to go see a neurologist for, something like that. And then the other one was another case that I just worked with recently that was kind of an interesting case too. Won't go into that too much just to keep client confidentiality stuff correct. But so out of these three, it's like these kind of outliers from the rest of them, right? Which leaves us with those 51 people who got some measure of breakthrough, which if we look at the percentage, that's a whopping 94.44% of people that I've worked with one-on-one, and again, outside of that, there's more, but just one-on-one people that I've worked with who got breakthrough of some type of new sort of visual thought throughout this program, which honestly, this number is shocking to even me, okay? I look at this, and every time a person gets a breakthrough actually on my sessions, I'm like, wow, this is crazy that the brain can readjust and tweak its perception in this way, start experiencing something outside of its normal perception, right? And this number is, I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, that's crazy. The brain is so amazing. You know, and this touches on an idea that I talked about in the Keys series, I believe. If you haven't watched that, make sure you go watch it. But this touches on the idea of neuroplasticity. So the brain is just incredible at rewiring itself to experience something new or to transfer functionality to a new area. And this number is, helps to see that in real time throughout my program. And one thing I'd like you to keep in mind about this 94% is most of these people that are included in that number, I only worked with for 4-hour-long sessions. Like my program in the very beginning was a little longer. I did 7 to 8 sessions. That was until like early 2019. And then at that point I started whittling things down because I was figuring out at that point like what was working and what wasn't for people, in general. And so the program got shorter and shorter. And now I recommend that anybody does 4-hour-long sessions. And that's not even this is with even no extra practice necessary. Some of the people will practice inherently on their own because they just want to or they think it's fun. But that's one of the first questions I answer on my free strategy call. I'll be like, people ask all the time, is extra practice necessary? And it's actually not. Just 1 hour a week will yield these types of moments where new types of thoughts are breaking through. And it's just wild how adept the brain is, like I was saying about neuroplasticity, how adept the brain is at adjusting its experience. So what's the point of talking about this today? Well, I have a bunch of different objectives by talking about this right now. My work has been fairly controversial, especially within the communities of aphantasia and stuff like that, since the very beginning. I've been really the only one that I know of anyway. There's now one other person that does some sort of program around developing a mind's eye, Anthony Metivier from Magnetic Memory Method. He's a wonderful guy. He developed, himself a mind's eye just kind of out of nowhere, so he created a program around it too. But for a long time, I was the only person that was standing up on this soapbox going, hey, let's see if we can change this. And actually, people are making progress. Let's see who else can make progress, right? And that's not to say, though, that I think that everyone needs a mind's eye. I want to be really clear about that. Like if you're experiencing aphantasia and you actually are okay with it, then great. I think we need all types of different thinkers. So if your brain operates differently than than somebody experiencing regular aphantasia out there, that's a good thing. Like we need different types of thinkers, right? I think the thing that arises for me is if you want to make a change, or if you feel like you're missing out, or if there's some pain and you want to address that pain, or whatever it is, a lot of different motivations to wanting to develop a mind's eye. But if you have that and you want to develop a mind's eye for yourself, I want to be here, standing here today, showing you these numbers, kind of revealing my program to you, the successes and the failures, because I want you to come away with the feeling that there's hope, right? The feeling that there's hope to what you desire could come to pass. Does that make sense? So this is like an overflow of my life too. I rarely take no for an answer. And when I want something or I desire something, I go for it until I get it. And that's an overflow. You're experiencing the overflow in this program, this YouTube channel, of that kind of attitude. And I hope that that would spill over onto any of you listening or watching, that want a mind's eye that maybe feel hopeless about it. Well, here's some hope. It's possible. People are doing it. People are doing it actively every day. Go check out the Discord server. If this video is not enough, go on the forum, see who has made progress. There's going to be a lot of people shooting it down though, saying that it's not possible, but like we're proving the opposite every single day. So I hope you come away with some hope from today. And lastly, something I want to address just head on right now is inevitably after I come out with videos like this or as I continue on my program, it's been happening since the beginning, but there's inevitably going to be people that say that I'm just trying to make money. That this guy is totally, off the rails. He's just trying to rip you off. He's just trying to make money from these people. And at the beginning, I tried catering to these people quite a bit. Like I tried kind of dodging around them and being like overly kind and all that kind of stuff. Trying to prove to the community in a sense, or these people, these individuals specifically, that I was actually just trying to be generous. Like I honestly wanted to help people and make a practice for myself, of course, because I want to do this full time, and I am doing it full time now. But I was trying to prove that my intentions were pure. And honestly, I had a bit of guilt around charging money too. Like the first person that suggested that I charge money was actually a client of mine back in the beginning. I think it was late 2018. And they were like, "Hey, Alec, what are you doing? Like, you're ridiculous. Please charge. You're like working so hard on this all the time. You got to charge money, man." And I went, okay, you're right. And so I overcame that guilt for myself. And now I realize that the work, effort, and time I put into all this stuff, this program, into every single one of my clients, it's worth a lot to people. It's worth a lot to people. It's been, making way for breakthroughs where there was none before for people. And it's been my honor to spend full-time energy into this topic at hand. So that being said, shamelessly, yes, I have built a practice around this and I do charge for it, okay? And I do want to help the community at large, which I try to do all the time in my Discord server here with you guys here listening today. I spend a ton of personal time on this stuff throughout the week, full-time effort and energy. And if I wasn't being compensated for that, of course, I would not be able to do it anymore. And even though my programs are paid, like I said, through this community on YouTube, through my Discord server, I really hope to help people, not only those who work with me directly, but who also just want to start practicing on their own. And that's that Discord server, totally. People are always in there sharing breakthroughs and stuff and new methods and stuff with each other. That's been my heart, to help people from day one and make my practice out of it. And that being said, now is the best time to chat with me. I just got done with a whole wave of new clients from the New Year's sale I was running. That New Year's sales is gone, and now my schedule is kind of opening up a tiny bit. So now's the best time to book me for this free call. I offer a free strategy call. And if you've been following me for a while or just found me, hopefully today's video gave you at least some hope, some proof that there's things out there, that the program itself that I'm running works, that other people are making progress on their mind's eye development journey. And hopefully you come away thinking, okay, I could do this. And I'd like you to ask yourself something at this point. If making even slight progress on your mind's eye experience, if that was actually possible, would it be worth it? If you're like a resounding yes within you, yes, it would totally be worth it. Whatever it is, I don't care. Whatever it is, it would be worth it. Then now is the perfect time to book a strategy call with me. I offer a free 30-minute strategy call to anyone that wants it still. I'll offer that as long as I possibly can until I'm just so booked up that I can't anymore. But free strategy call. I would love to talk with you, love to get to know your journey a little bit and point you in the right direction, whether it's my program or not. And I want to stress, don't hesitate on this. If that's something that you want to claim and you want to make good on, don't hesitate, because I got a wait list building. There's certain days you'll see on my calendar that are blacked out. That's because I'm booked up on those days. Just a couple weeks ago, I was booked up the whole week. All right, so I'm opening up a little bit right now. Get in there, get your call, get that 30-minute call. I'd love to point you in the right direction, and I'm excited to chat with you soon. Okay, so that's it for today. Hope you got some hope. Please leave a comment, like the video. Again, if you want to develop your mind's eye, there's hope, there's options. And that's what I'll keep standing on my soapbox and pumping, you know, pushing out there. So great chatting with you guys. Good to see you again, and I'll be seeing you soon. Oh, next couple videos, I'm gonna have a series coming up of describing Aphantasia. And actually, I've been running a survey for the past, I don't know, like 8-9 months, something like that. It's been a while, where I've been surveying prophantasic individuals and hyperphantasic individuals, as well as aphantasic individuals, and trying to find out just how common projection type imagery is. So I have a couple videos in mind that I'm going to start making and releasing hopefully in the next few months of, you know, describing prophantasia, the projection style of imagery versus mind's eye and all that, and trying to make the distinction even clearer. Okay, and so that'll be some fun stuff to get into. So something to look forward to. Book that call with me, get in there. I'll be talking to you soon. Okay, bye.